Good morning, Angela, Danette. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Julie. Hope everybody's doing well today. Hi, Christina. Hi, Miriam. Cold, Indiana. It is cold here, too. Trust me, I feel your pain, especially after coming back from a 97-degree heat index in Orlando. Whew. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Diana. Hi, Denise. So you guys are either going to think this is funny or really irresponsible. So we'll see which way you go. Hey, Tammy. So I completely forgot today was Wednesday. Is that not like the most boneheaded thing you ever thought? I was like sitting thinking like, what am I supposed to be doing today? I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something. And then like the next thing you know, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, so so anyway, I thought we would make this card. I actually made a different version of this, and I'll share this with you. I know, what can you do but laugh? So I was like running around trying to finish up what I had to do, because I know by the time I'm done this, I usually have to go pick up Christian. So we're gonna make this card today, and I actually made one originally, and I'm gonna show you what I changed on the second one. And I'm going to share a couple other things with you. Vacation lag. Man, you aren't kidding. Hey, and congratulations, Danette. I heard you won something. That's pretty awesome. So I'm going to show you, again, just a couple things. Came back for a week. Yeah, seriously. Actually, I was there for 10 days, Diane. It wasn't just the weekend. So I think I'm just still in general Disney mode as a rule. So I wanted to show you just one more time. These are the stamp sets that I got, courtesy, thank you very much, to Linda Cullen, because she picked this stuff up for me, because I only went to one part of it. And then the Gingham Gala 6x6 paper, which is really pretty. But I did a video on this, so if you guys missed this, but a couple people did have a couple tips that I just wanted to reshare again. So I did a little quick video on the cling stamps. So just as a reminder, and I have my other stamp set here to show you, the cling stamps are replacing the clear mount stamps, but this won't be until the next occasions catalog, but is really cool still. So these, if you remember, we always had a really hard time getting these to stick if we put the stickers on them. So they, of course, this one's sticking now because look, it's being threatened. So we have these new stamps, and they're going to be cling mount stamps. So I shared these the other day, but I had a couple people tell me a couple other tips, so I figured I wanted to share them with you. So one thing, once you have these cling mounts in your case again, you do have to be a little bit careful about removing them, because if you pull too hard, you actually can pull the foam away from the rubber. And as you can see, they are a little bit different. Let's see if I can pull one out here that's not mounted yet. They are a little different color. So one is a little bit lighter than the other. Someone also asked me, will these stick without the sticker? They do. However, since the stickers stick, why would you not stick the stickers on them? That's a lot of stickers. But so you do want to make sure that you are very careful when you actually put this onto your sticker, because once you put it on, you can't remove it, you can't adjust it, you won't put your stickers on. Well, here's one other suggestion I was going to say, Donna. So when you put your stickers on, you do want to make sure that you line them up. So I usually just pull off one half, and then you can press it down. So you see this is half mounted and half unmounted, and then you could lift this other part off, peel off the words. Oop, that might not have been such a good idea. Yeah, there we're okay. And then press this down. But another suggestion that apparently, since I didn't go to the on-stage portion of it, they suggested you to take this and rub it on your jeans, or I guess you'd probably do it on your hands as well, just to kind of remove a little bit of the stickiness. That way it's not quite as tacky, but you can hear it's super duper sticky. So these, like, you could probably just, you could drop your block on it and look, it picks right up. Whereas this one, if you did that, oh, see, I'm telling you, it's the humidity. Either that or they're terrified. So these do stick super duper well. One other thing you want to make sure, you do not want to get your alcohol markers near these stickers. Again, once I find out a little bit more of why, but apparently alcohol and these stickers do not mix. So when you clean these off, you just want to do the same thing. Just rinse them with water. You probably could do a soap if you needed to, but I'm not really sure the amount of, I guess, fuzz or hair that could stick to it, because I guess if you do have pets, that could be a bit of an issue for you. But anyway, they do stick on there super well, and I do keep mine still in here. But again, when you keep them in here, so you're going to put your stamps back in if that's how you do it. Or maybe some of you don't keep these. I keep these in because that way I can tell if one is missing, like when I lost that one last week. But when you pull them out, you just want to make sure that you take care to pull all the way with the sticker, because you can pull the foam apart because they are quite sticky. But they're also pretty cool in the stickiness of them. So again, remember, no alcohol. You want to make sure that you line your stamp up before. And the other thing, someone else had a tip, and I did do this with one of my dandelion stamps, is I cut a little piece of this away, and then you could use this as a sticker if you wanted to put it onto your regular clear mount stamps to make them stick a little better. So there's all these extra pieces here, so you could use all the border if you wanted to. But that's just a quick thought. So these are some pretty sets. This is Beauty Abounds. This has, I believe, a coordinating punch with it. The Amazing Life. This is photopolymer, which I think this will be really cool for doing the ombre technique with. This will be really great. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, Donna. This will be really great, again, for doing either the no-line watercoloring with the hummingbird and the leaf. I saw a really pretty card with this on there inside. I'll have to recreate that for you. Or with the Stampin' Blend, so either one. And then this one is a pretty cool set, Stampin' Your Way to the Top. This is a demonstrator only stamp set. So if you wanted to get this, you can sign up as a demonstrator and you can purchase this, which is pretty cool. So right now, you again can sign up as a demonstrator if you aren't one and you would like to be one. You do get to purchase $125 worth of anything in any catalog, and if you wait to join until December 5th, you can actually order out of the Occasions catalog. If you sign up now, you can pick whatever you'd like out of Christmas or the annual catalog, and then you'd be able to purchase along with the rest of us on December 5th anything out of the catalog at a discount. So cool thing there. And what else do I have to share? So we're not going to have wood mount stamps anymore, except for background stamps. So background stamps will come in clear mount and wood mount. But wood mount is going to be phasing out very soon. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be for everything, but for the Occasions catalog, I think everything they have probably in the annual catalog will still be there for now. So we'll see how that goes. And I did get some great stamps, even considering I wasn't actually there. So again, thank you, Linda, for picking those up. So we're gonna do this stamp today, this card. It was a very simple card. I kind of mimicked this off of one I saw in the catalog when I went to the Stamp-A-Stack. It was probably about a month and a half ago. I was just making a whole bunch of cards. Yes, and if they join, they can get the cool tote. That's absolutely true. My tote didn't come in yet. It probably won't be here until next week, so I'll share that with you. But we have a cool tote that you can pre-order through November 30th, I believe it is. And there's also a great Stamparatus bag. So when I get both of those in, I'll share them with you so I can actually show them to you. I like to talk about things and share them, but I like to be able to actually have them to show them. So once I get them in, I'll do a video and show you guys. So this card I created was very simple, but I thought, what if I just amped it up just a little bit? So instead, what I did for the second version is I embossed the one layer here with the subtles folder. So I just put half of the card in and did it with the subtles folder. And then I sponged the edge of this one as well. And then this one is just plain with the edge sponged. So, and then for this one, I used the Festive Farmhouse DSP. And if any of you have heard, if you're following someone or following me, I don't know if I posted about it, but the Joyous Noel Designer Series paper was such a great seller, it's gone. They completely sold out of it. So what they are doing is they actually brought back this paper that was earnable for a while with a purchase. I believe that was back in October. And this paper is called Dashing Along. It's got a lot of really nice background pieces in it. So we have stars. You have this nice filigree. So I brought this out thinking it would be fun to use. The cool part about this is you actually get 4 sheets of each. So we have the stripes and the snowflakes, and you have the stars and the newsprint, and then the other one is the filigree and the poinsettias. So you could use this if you have a different paper that you love and you've been wanting to use up. Maybe you cut up some of them and you don't know what to do with it. That would be a great choice. Other thing you could use as well is your Festive Farmhouse DSP. So that's what I used for this piece here. And I did bring a little bit of red. Since it was so much green on the card, I thought it would be nice to bring in a little bit of red. So you could bring that in with the plaid if you wanted to. Or you could also do this. This one is a really cool paper. I actually have a nice card to share with you, but this one I'm going to do later in the week, I think. So this is a nice wood background, but this one has a lot of really pretty pieces to it. So I'm going to do one with this other plaid. And this is again from the Festive Farmhouse DSP, which is one of my favorites. So what we're going to do, and I do apologize because I have everything all over the place because I forgot it was Wednesday. How a person could forget what day it is absolutely beyond me, but here I am. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just trim a piece of this DSP down, and we're going to make a third version. So I believe, if I am correct, this measured 2.5 by 4. 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 by 4 1/4. And then the other one is going to measure 3 by 4 1/2. So 2.5 by 3, 2.5 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and trim a piece that's 2.5. And then we'll cut this down to 4 1/4. So this will be our layering piece. And then most of the rest of the stuff I already have cut off. I just kind of saved that one. So I also kind of switched this around. Just depends on what you want to do. So for this one, since I had white background, I used white paper. And I also changed out to a piece of cherry cobbler. But I'm going to show you guys how to do this one here in the back instead. So we're going to use very vanilla for ours. So I have one piece of cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 11, score at 5 1/2. I have to think about what day it is sometimes. Me too. And then this one, I believe I said was 3 1/2. Nope, 3 by 4 1/2. 4 1/2-ish. 3 by 4 1/2. And then we have a piece of cherry cobbler. So I did this one in cherry cobbler, but we're going to change this one to garden green. And this just needs to be 2 3/4 inch squared. And then we're going to cut a circle out of this one. And we're also going to stamp it a little bit. So it was a little bit of fun. Kind of added like some surprise dimension to this one. Let me just grab my garden green so I can cut up a piece. I think I might have a piece in here. Nope. Yeah, here's a small one. So again, for the garden green portion, I'm just going to move both of these over. These are going to be 2 3/4 squared. So I'm going to just do 2 3/4. And this is just because of the size of the stitched circle that I used. So 2 3/4 square. All right, so we have a couple things to do, but I'm going to do the big shot portion first. So I'm going to move this up here. And I'm going to stamp this. That way we can do that all at the same time. So what I did was, if you guys notice on this one, I did this one in garden green on garden green. On this red one here, you can't quite see it as much. I actually just ended up using Versamark to make it a little bit lighter. But I think I like the way it turned out better with the green on green. So I'm going to do the same thing again, garden green on garden green. So I have done this before at times when I'm being a little bit of a lazy stamper, I guess you could say. So I've left my, this is also another thing, if you forget maybe one of your big blocks, I've left my buffalo check stamp in the folder that it comes in. And I'm just inking this on here because I don't want it to be too dark. So I'm going to just lay this down. Doesn't really matter where, as long as it lays still. And then what you can do is you can kind of just go over it with your bone folder. And I know I got ink on that one side, but that's okay. Or you can also, if you have a block, you could press a block down onto it. So if you ever do something and maybe you forgot your big stamp, and it does coat on there, so Then all you have to do when you're finished, which I had this, here it is just take your chamois and just wipe it off. Okay. So then I'm going to close this up. And then the other thing is I did stamp the words on here, but I'm going to wait and do that once we cut it out. That way I can make sure that I have it where I would like it. Okay, so we're going to cut out a circle and we're going to emboss these two panels. So let me grab my Big Shot. So for two of these, we have dynamic folders. So when you have dynamic folders, all you need is your Big Shot platform and one cutting pad, okay? Clever. That's more like lazy, but thank you, Linda. I'll take clever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the smaller piece through the corrugated folder. And you can spray this if you want it to be a little bit more bendy, but I'm just kind of lining it up as close as I can to an edge. So again, you're going to put your cutting pad on top. You're going to put your base plate on the bottom. You do want to make sure that they are lined up 100% so nothing hangs over, so you don't end up shaving off bits of your embossing folder or your cutting pad. And you can ask me how I know that, but I'm sure you guys know that too. So we have right here, this is our corrugated layer. Then we're going to put the corrugated folder away. We're going to grab our subtles folder. This is dynamic as well, so we're going to still do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my paper in here so you can see my paper is still whole. I'm going to just put it up to the line. Just give that just a little fold. Close it just like that. And then same thing again. I like to do these when I kind of have them out. That way I can make sure everything is lined up and that nothing moves. And then I'm going to put my other plate back on top again and crank this through. When I did it the other day, I must not have had it lined up because it kind of slid through partially. But since it's on the back, nobody's going to notice. It's okay. All right, so there you have your nice subtles embossed on the one side, if you can see that, and then the other side is just plain. So this will be the back. And then one more thing, but I believe I have to grab my other cutting pad. So then we're going to cut out our buffalo check layer. So I'm going to put my thin die adapter back, put my cutting plate back, put my piece that I already laid on there, and we're going to go with the stitched circle. Okay, this is the second largest. We're going to just lay that right down on top. And just give me 1 second. I put my other cutting pad. Okay, so then I'm going to put my other cutting pad on top. And I thought this was a really simple card. It has a lot of impact, but quite honestly, you can emboss larger pieces of the corrugated and then cut them down if you wanted to. So then we have our little stitched circle here. And I move the Big Shot out of the way. Oh, you know what? We still have one more thing to do, but I gotta wait because I forgot to stamp that part. We have one more little piece to cut out because we're gonna stamp the Merry Christmas. Okay, so what I did, we have our stamp here, stamped piece, and I have my Farmhouse Christmas, so I'm gonna use this one. So this one says, "Wishing you a Merry Christmas full of peace, wonder, and love." And I thought this fit on the stamp really nicely, quite honestly. That's why I used it. So I'm actually going to do this, believe it or not, in Memento ink, so it's very dark. So I'm going to ink this up with Memento. Hi, Phyllis and Lori. Thank you for joining. The center part doesn't really matter because that part is going to get cut off, so just make sure that your other part is... Let's see if that's a little blurry. Yeah, make sure your other part is pretty dark because we're going to re-stamp the middle. Okay, so I'm going to line this up close as I can to the center and press. And if you wanted this to be darker, you could also do this with black embossing powder. So you could do it with Versamark and black embossing powder. So there is that. Okay. Put our Memento away. Or you could also use your Stamparatus and you could just stamp it more than once. So there's another idea. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off with my chamois. And the cool part is with that Memento ink, it completely comes off of these stamps. So that's really nice. So I do have my red tint though, so I don't lose it. And let's see, let me get a piece of vanilla. And I have some thick vanilla, so I'm just going to use this. My other vanilla ran away somewhere. And I'm going to do the Merry Christmas, but I'm going to do this again in Cherry Cobbler. So if I stamp a little extra, it doesn't matter because we're going to cut it out. Okay, so we're going to just stamp our Merry Christmas. Just like that. So again, that was Cherry Cobbler. I'll wipe this off. Okay, and now we just have our last piece to cut out, and then we will get to assembly. So let me move these over. Bring my Big Shot back one more time, and the only thing I think I might not know where it is my other die. So we're going to cut this Merry Christmas out right here. Let me move this to the other side so you guys can see. And I could cut that off so it goes in easier, but that's okay. So, Farmhouse framelits. They seem to have run away from me. Yep. All right, hold tight. Talk amongst yourselves for 1 minute. I have my big folder of white. I just actually went through and organized all of my framelits. Oh, isn't this just beautiful? I went through and organized all of my framelits, and I can't find that one. Ah! Don't know where it is. Here it is. Right under my nose. Okay, so we're going to use the nice flagged end, but the cool part about the flagged end is it also is stitched, so it kind of gives like an extra. This card, even though it doesn't really have like a whole lot to it, it gives a little bit of an extra impact with just having like all the stitching on it, which that's pretty cool, I thought. So I'm going to just kind of line this up, eyeball it, see if it's for the most part straight. I'm going to slide this in. Make sure I don't have any cutting off pieces. Slip my plate on there. All right, crank this through. Okay, and let me move this over, and then we'll put this together. So we're gonna pop that out so you have a nice little Merry Christmas. And it's stitched. I really like the stitching part. I think that really like adds an extra bonus to it for me. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to actually put these up on dimensionals. This time I'm going to put the Merry Christmas up on dimensionals. One thing I will warn you is you kind of have to be careful where you center this. I'm just going to put 3. Because I centered one of them a little bit low and it kind of cut off the full of piece. Goodness gracious. I had my Minnie Mouse nails. I did my fingernails with red and white polka dots, but the pull at the end of our trip kind of destroyed those. All right, so I'm going to kind of line this up, eyeball it. Just like that. So that way it's nice and it's not covering anything. And then just give it a little press. And then the other thing I did, so this is kind of up to you, because this can be a little bit much of ribbon for somebody. I could understand maybe not wanting to part with this much ribbon. So I kind of made this one a little bit smaller. But I do like the flagged ends. If you don't want to have that much, you could always flag the ends. And what we're going to do is I'll show you how to do this as a kind of a safer way of using your ribbon. However, use your ribbon, because I have so much ribbon, you guys, it's not even funny. I'm going to just trim this at an angle, this piece right here. So I have both of those at an angle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, just to kind of hold this in place, actually I should do a glue dot. To hold this in place, so if I want this to be like that, I'm going to kind of put these, I'm just going to put a tiny glue dot right here. Oops, did that stick? Okay, just to hold these two together, okay? And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one more glue dot, and I'm going to put one up at this end to kind of hold these two together. So I have still my little one side and the other side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them. So I'm going to cut down the middle. So if you wanted this to be a little unlapped, you could kind of spread them out a little bit like that. And then if you want this, now that you have it apart, to be a little bit more looped, you could kind of spread it into a little bit more of a loop and just readjust your glue dot if you'd like. So we're going to do this as a faux. That way you can do more of these than you originally started with. So we're going to go ahead and put our corrugated piece on first. I would definitely suggest when you're doing this to use a really strong glue, okay? Because this stuff will come apart. So I'm going to use, oh, let me grab my other one that I know is brand new. I'm going to use some Tombow. Yeah, I just thought of that ribbon saver, Linda. You like that at the last minute because that was not my plan at all. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow. So it kind of gooped out in the beginning, so I'm just spreading it. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add both of these pieces on, again, just with a little glue. So I'm going to put a little bit directly onto the ribbon. And then the same for this one, since it's not a whole piece, because normally I would have just put it on the back side of it. So we'll put that like that. Spread this out a little bit, put this here, and just make sure you like the way it's lined up. Make sure it kind of looks like it's relatively straight in the same piece. Tuck that in a little bit. You could also, if you wanted to, if you're worried about the flatness of this, you could do this with, you could put the corrugated piece on with dimensionals as well. So make sure that's straight. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab one of my bigger blocks and I'm going to just set that there for a minute just to press that down. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to just put a little bit of liquid glue onto the back of this. You could also put this on again if you wanted a little bit more lift. You could put it on with some dimensionals. Now, the way I had this, as you see, is it kind of went, this part was straight and this part was up. So I'm going to put this up and make this straight. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. Just before we finish, and I'm going to put this on and make sure I like it before it's completely dry, because you know what the cool part with the Tombow is, you can adjust it a little bit. So we can make this, pull this off and make it a little less crooked if we'd like. And then I did prep it. I know I have dimensionals on here, but I did push this on just a minute just to kind of let it set there. But that's it. Only other thing I forgot is if you wanted to, you could do this after the fact. It's not going to ruin anything. Let me see, where did I put my ink? Here it is. I keep losing my ink pads and they're right in front of my face. You could, if you wanted to, take your garden green and you could take a sponge dauber and then you could just sponge the edges of this if you like. Because I think even with all this dimension, the sponging just really gives that old, like an aged effect to it. You could even sponge the corrugated piece if you wanted to. That would be kind of neat. You could sponge the corrugated piece and you could sponge the plaid piece, because then it will bring everything all together. Let me just lift this up just a little so I can go underneath of here. And that's it. So there is a sponge one. Again, kind of depends on if you're feeling a little bit wanting to be thrifty with your ribbon. I will tell you one thing. I think the ribbon really lifts this up a little bit. So if I did this again, so if you guys want to do this trick where you save yourself some ribbon, I would put the corrugated piece up on dimensionals, just that way it looks like it's a little bit higher. Kind of gives the illusion that the whole piece is underneath. Nobody's really going to know unless they decide to completely dissect your card, which I can't imagine anybody would do, but pretty simple. And you could use any piece of DSP, but I definitely think I like the green, like the green and green and green. But I think the red really is a nice pop when you have the white on there instead. So, really simple card for someone who forgot what day it was today anyway. So, I hope you guys enjoy this. And look at that, my low battery power just came onto my phone because, again, I wasn't prepared. But if you guys have any questions, I will post this to my blog later. I am going to visit my nephew today, though. His birthday was yesterday. He turned the big 7, so he's very excited. So we're going to go visit him after school pickup, and then I'll pop this onto the blog later. So if you guys aren't already on there, you can subscribe at rachthestamper.com. And then I'll put all the measurements for everything on there as well. I do have a November hostess code. If you like that to shop with, you can always expect a very nice thank you in the mail from me. It's usually more of a thank you than you expect to get. And I appreciate all of your support. I will see you guys definitely next Wednesday, because I actually might remember what day it is. And if you guys have any suggestions on cards that you would like to see made, or styles or techniques, please feel free to send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. I love doing requests of what you guys would like to see, because it gives me new ideas as well and new things to try out. So if you have any suggestions or something that you've been dying to see demonstrated, please let me know. I'd love to have you part of my team. If you want, you can follow me at rachthestamper.stampinup.net. You can join my team, which is the Rainbow Stampers. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will try to get you some more Christmas idea posted later on this week. I did have an amazing time, Janet. Thank you for asking. Convention was very fun, even though I only got one day of it. I'm looking forward to April. April is going to be in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So if anyone on here is a demonstrator, I hope to see you in Atlantic City. And if you're not, join as one, and then you can go, because anybody can go. It's really, really fun. So you guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon.